just make sure. I'm not even ready for this. We're just gonna make sure. Wait a couple of minutes. Um, that's weird. All right. So yes. So in this video, in this stream, we're gonna be talking about. Oh, weird. No, it's not working. There we go. That was weird. All right. Yeah. So in this stream, we're gonna be talking about. It's a discussion I've been wanting to talk about in the past 2 days because yes, this stream is gonna be about The Walking Dead season 9. I barely had the chance to finish it 2 days ago, and the reason why I stopped watching it. Let's talk about that first, since I'm still fixing this. Reason why I stopped watching it is because after it started off great to me. Like I was still sticking to it because The Walking Dead still gives us in each episode a good story for these characters. How they develop and grow, and what new threats is coming to them, and a bunch of good stuff. I feel like every episode they always have like a good story where we can learn something from it, right? And all of a sudden I just stopped watching it because after Rick Grimes, was he left. Um, but we all know, for those of us who don't know, um, he's gonna come out in the movie, the actor. So he's still alive and everything. But just in case, guys, this is a spoiler. It says right there in the title and everything. So if you haven't seen all of season 9, all the way to episode 15, this is gonna contain major spoilers. So I'm giving you a warning. Do not watch this video because if you still want to watch the rest of season 3, keep watching. Otherwise, uh, don't watch this because I'm about to spoil everything. This is something that I'm excited to talk about, and yeah, so let's get to it. So, anyways, I stopped watching it because after Rick Grimes, died, but he didn't really die. He was taken off the show. I was like, how are they gonna do this, without the main character, the main actor? I mean, we really focused the whole story on him. We followed the whole show, the whole adventure with him, and now he's been taken off. So I'm like, how are they gonna do it? Like, how are they gonna have a few of these actors left playing these characters, to pick up the pieces? Because he was a terrific actor, Andrew Lincoln. So it just had me concerned. Like, how are they gonna do this? I mean, Daryl's cool and all that, but I mean, come on. I'm not a big fan of him. He's all right and everything. He kicks ass. Michonne, I sticked around a little bit because of her. I love the actress who plays Michonne and other characters who are still alive, Carol and such, and Jesus. But then we later find out. I think the last episode that I saw, that when I stopped watching it, was when Jesus died, when he got killed by the Whispers. So just like, oh man. So then I read those articles that Maggie's not going to return, that she left the show, and then soon the actress who's playing Michonne is going to leave the show. So it's like, oh my God, like a lot of good people, a lot of good actors are leaving. And then I read that the actress who played Maggie, she'll be returning not in season 10, but in season 11. So then the moment I read that, and then I also read the article about season 11 is already on the works, I was like, damn, all right. So maybe it's doing good after all. So should I give it another shot? Why not? I'll watch it. So yeah, I started watching it again. There were some episodes that I liked. Um, I really thought like I hope it doesn't drag, but it doesn't at all. I was wrong. It really the show is still interesting. Every episode, each story, the characters are all terrific. The enemies, the new enemies, the Whispers are just crazy. The Alpha, the female villain in this one, I think she's terrific. She's a terrific actress. I think she's perfect for this role. Just the way she acts, like, oh, you think I failed you? Like with that little accent. Like she is so threatening. I love how she like talks, I like the way she acts, because I've always thought, how are they gonna do better than the governor? How are they gonna do better than the cop chick who killed Beth? How are they gonna do better than the guy, the cannibal leader? And how are they gonna do better than Negan? All those villains that they introduced were like terrific. And I'm like, okay, who's gonna be the villain in this one? Who's gonna be the leader of the Whispers? And it's that Alpha chick. And then you see her story and everything, and then her daughter, how she had complications trying to remember what really happened with her father. Seeing those flashbacks and how that worked was terrific, by the way, that one episode. And so that's what caught my attention. That's what brought me back into the show. So I was like, okay, they're doing good. Another episode, I will not talk too much about it. I'm just building up to this episode that we're going to discuss in a few minutes. The one episode about Michonne, because I was curious, why was Michonne so like eager to not want to help her friends from the other colonies, Hilltop and wait, no, she's from Alexandria, right? Yeah. Well, other places, right? She didn't want to help them at all. She didn't want to have anything to do with them. She'll be like, yeah, hello, whatever, but then she would cut herself off from them. So I'm like, why is she like that? And then you don't know until later on. You finally see her story. That let me see if I can find it. What's the name of that episode? More episodes. What was it called? So you guys could check it out. It's called this one. It's season 9, episode 14, and it's called Scars. That's the one before the episode we're gonna discuss in a few minutes. Scars. Now, we always wondered, where did Daryl and Michonne get those scars? That's what like was making me so interested. Like, I want to know like what the hell happened. By the way, it's raining outside. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Um, that episode with Michonne, guys, that episode was crazy and good at the same time because it all deals with Michonne. How does she cope with like after what happened with Rick? You see that she's still looking for Rick and down the river. Possible areas where Rick could have been brought ashore, and then Daryl's also helping her out, but no luck, right? Because he's obviously not there, and so he's alive somewhere else, but they believe he's dead. So she thought, how is she gonna cope with this? Later on, she finds an old friend. What was her name? I forgot her name. What's her name? Michelle Mako. Choice. Oh, I don't know. I forgot her name. Well, it was her best friend from high school that she found her again, and she's still alive, and with kids, kids, that she took care of, that she was trying to keep alive. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. A woman, like I guess has like a daycare or not a daycare, but a shelter for kids, who lost their parents, and she's taking care of all those children. Michonne, invites them to stay in Alexandria, and her best friend's like trying to help her, like you're trying to look for you know, the one you love, right? Which is Rick. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, well, don't give up. You never know if he's still alive if you just give up. Because if you give up, you will never be able to live with yourself because you'll always wonder what if. And I thought that's cool. That's what best friends are for. And then she felt good about it. What happens the next day? The kids go missing. The kids in Alexandria, even Judith. So she's like, what the hell? She's panicking. And Michonne is also pregnant. We see that she's pregnant with Rick's baby. And so she goes crazy. We're like, where's Judith? And then where's the other kids from Alexandria? Turns out her best friend took them, kidnapped them, and she took them along with the kids that she, had with them. They go off looking for her, hunting her down. Michonne feels bad about leaving the kids, with her best friend, not knowing like what could have happened. That she was blaming herself, like beating herself up that she should have saw it coming, but she let her guard down because it felt good to have someone to pick her up again, make her feel, good about what happened with Rick, just helping her move on. And then Daryl's like, it's not all your fault. There's no way you could have known that this was going to happen. It's just some people are just evil that they hide behind masks. So, they go along, they find the kids, and it turns out that those kids that woman was taking care of and raising, she raised them to be killers. Because one of the kids killed one of the people from Alexandria, and they're like, oh my god, like what the hell? The kids knew had a sword, they had like knives and shit. So they were ready to attack Michonne, even though regardless if she was pregnant. And Daryl. Well, he wasn't pregnant, but they were ready to attack them both. They get captured, and then we find out how they got those scars. The woman was telling the kid, Michonne's best friend was telling one of the kids, like, get the hot poker, burn it up, warm it up, and then stick it on behind Michonne's back. That whole scene was terrific, acting wise, because Michonne, she was tied up, and then they were like puncturing that heat behind her back. I felt I couldn't take it. Just imagining the pain and then her screaming because she had that thing around her mouth. screaming in pain and looking at her best friend like, you bitch, like, why are you doing this? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You know, I thought we were like best friends. What on earth happened to you? And even Daryl's scream was horrific, but Job Watanda, they're like terrific actors. That, you know, see, that's the thing I like about this show. At least they have better performances compared to. I'm sorry to say, for those who are fans of American Horror Story, because I've been watching the new season. I felt like some of their acting is just comparing them to American to the actors from The Walking Dead. The actors, all the actors from The Walking Dead, they got this. They're way better than the ones they act in American Horror Story. I'm sorry to say, I know it's not probably not their fault. Maybe it's because the where they're being told like how to perform this scene or something. But it's just, I don't know. I believe more acting, more emotions in The Walking Dead than I do in American Horror Story. I'm sorry to say. I think it's because most of the good actors have already gone from that show. But anyways, after that, Michonne goes after the kids. She gets freed. Daryl frees her because he was already trying to loosen, cut himself loose. He goes after he frees Michonne, and they're like, "We gotta go get Judith because they're somewhere out there." And then they run into the kids again. The kids, the psycho kids with their knives. But you know what? It's not their fault because that's how they were raised to defend themselves. Because that woman's all like, "Remember what I taught you? Defend your family or whatever, shit like that." So they were like ready to defend each other and to fight whatever it takes, you know. And it kind of reminded me when Carol tried to teach the kids how to defend themselves at a very young age, because the world they lived in, the world they live in right now in the zombie apocalypse, that's pretty much how it is. So it's not their fault that that's how they were taught how to defend themselves, regardless of like who it is. They just know that that's that's what they were taught and raised to do. So when that one kid swinged at Michonne and that little kid cut her in the stomach while she was pregnant, I was like, don't tell me that's how she has a miscarriage. But no, she doesn't, because she had the baby. So it's a baby boy, and he's playing with Judith in one of the scenes. But that part got me scared because I was like, you little shit. I mean, what can you do against little children who are ready to kill you? And Michonne tries her very best to avoid that. And then when she finally tries to get to Judith, but the kids are like still swinging their weapons at her and shit, she had no choice. And she ends up killing them, like slashing them. And you don't see it, but it was job well done because there were like flashbacks, right? That was like a flashback we were watching. But in the present, when she tries to go look for Judith because Judith ran away, and she's like slashing her way through all these zombies. I love how that scene was done and perfectly, because instead of you seeing her slashing the kids, you see her slashing the zombies in the present. So it goes back and forth, and I love how that scenery was well made. Um, then one of the kids was ready to go shoot Judith or kill her, and Michonne's like, "No, come to me," and everything. But no, I think that kid ran away, right? That kid actually ran away. I don't think we ever get to find out what happened to that kid. So we have one kid that's still alive. And Michonne ended up killing her best friend in the end because her best friend didn't give a damn about her being pregnant or anything. That woman was just out of her mind. She had one goal, and that was to kill Michonne. Regardless if they knew each other in the past and they were best friends, she was ready to kill her. She was like hitting her with a bat and everything, knocking her down, and then Michonne just like, fuck that, I need to protect my kid. I would have done the same. If I was pregnant and I was in Michonne's shoes and these kids were gonna kill, you know, Rick's daughter, or what's his name, Shane's daughter, whatever. That's still my daughter. If you do whatever it takes, as difficult as that was and hard for Michonne, I bet it was very difficult. That whole episode was just crazy, and then you see why how she was like just traumatized and so protective of her Judith, and why she doesn't tell her that much. She just hoped that Judith forgot all about that when she was very young, but no, Judith remembered it. By the way, that young little girl who plays Judith, another terrific actress. She is so talented. I would like to meet her in a Comic Con one day. She's just brilliant. I love the way she talks to everybody. And she's so mature for her age. She's so little, but I love the scene when Michonne finally gets to talk to her about, like, this is what happened to you, when you got kidnapped. And she's like, no, I remember your best friend, like, she was very sweet to us, but I know she wasn't right. She took us, and I just remember you did what you had to do, and that was to save me and everything. And Michonne's all like, I really thought that messed up your life. I really thought that traumatized you and everything. And I'm so sorry we never had this chance to talk about it. I just didn't want you to remember that whole thing. And I love how that was handled. It was just so beautifully well done. I love how they had that connection with each other, Michonne and Judith. And it's just, it was just so beautiful. I cried because seeing that part, I was just like, poor Michonne. But then I love how Judith uh, says his role. She's like, when did we ever stop loving our friends? You know, meaning like, why did we stop helping the others from the other colonies, from Hilltop and the other places? And Michonne's like, we don't, we still love them and everything. Is like, but then why, are we separated from them? And then Michonne realizes like, because you did what you had to do because you love me, and they need our help. We all need each other at this moment. So like, why can't we? I miss them, and I'm just like, she's so wise, like such a little girl, so wise. And it was like it's sometimes it's people like that, especially kids. Sometimes they say the darnest things, but sometimes they can tell us things that, you know, opens up our minds, and it's an eye opener for us where sometimes as adults we forget, but it takes someone else, and then sometimes even a child to like help us remember that how we used to, the how we used to make how we used to do better make better choices and do better things, and it takes someone like that to to take us back to that. And sometimes you need to like vent out to like get emotions out of the way, because sometimes that's what you need. So beautifully well done on that. So Scars, remember guys, it was season 9 episode 14. That was one of my favorites. And now let's talk about episode 15 on season 9, The Calm Before. So the whole season 9 was terrific, by the way, but this is the one that really like ripped out my heart, because you thought, oh my god, there's no way they're gonna do a better kill off scene than Rick, because that was very emotional. There have been a lot of death scenes that have been very emotional, because I love how The Walking Dead builds up these characters and helps everyone get to know them all, and that's the important thing, for you to get to know these characters, love them, learn how to love them, see how they where they came from and all that, just connect yourself with them, because when the time comes when we lose them, it breaks our hearts, and then it just crushes us, and then it's like, how are they gonna live with this? So that's what I love about The Walking Dead. And that episode, this episode, 15, The Calm Before, reminded me about how good this show is. So let's get right to it. So it's all about them, the title says it all. It's the calm before, that's how it stops, but we all know it continues by saying the calm before the storm. And yeah, it really was calm in the beginning, because they all have a festival, and it was the time where all the colonies, Hilltop, Alexandria, were all gonna come together to the kingdom and enjoy a movie and enjoy a big festival. So everybody's having fun, and it's so interesting to see how they have their own booths. Each booth has oh, weapons for sale, or if you want to learn how to defend yourself, or that typical oh, I'll be right there, Soda Pop. I just saw you in, or I saw your invite. Um, I'll join you as soon as I'm done with this review. I promise you. I love how everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody's just having fun, and they're already gonna have plan to make music and everything. It's just everything is so peaceful at the moment. What can go wrong? We find out that that alpha chick, the villain of the season, was there in disguise. Because in the beginning, I think she killed off uh, a survivor, right? And she, so weird, so disturbing. She killed her off, and she starts like cutting the tip of the head, like all this part right here, so she can take off that dead body's hair, and then wear that hair to go to the fair, to sneak her way into the kingdom and blend in with the with the citizens, and look around to see like how it is. And when you see her there, you're like thinking, oh shit, she's probably seeing like how is everything, like do they have enough supplies, weapons, just looking for any weaknesses, so just in case they wish to attack that kingdom, they'll find the weakness. So I was already nervous, and I already knew she was looking for a daughter. By the way, Carol's and King Ezekiel, is that his name? King Ezekiel's son. You know, he's spending time with his new girlfriend, which is the villain's daughter, Alpha's daughter. I forgot her name, by the way, but she's so adorable. I liked her, by the way. I love her character. I love how she was introduced. She had a messed up life. Her mother was very messed up, raised her terribly, but I'm glad that that boy, their son, Carol, and King Ezekiel's son, was able to get through to her and have her make a choice where would you rather live in the wild with your mother and those other sick people, or would you rather live with us to see that, you know, it's not all about that life. You can have a life like this too, where we all help each other. We can get the life we had a long time ago before this apocalypse we had. We can have a life like that again if we just work together. So she was seeing that, right? So yeah, whatever. And then let's see, blah 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 blah. Carol had to go because what was the reason? Oh yeah, because they were gonna go do something. I don't remember that much of the episode, guys, but I'm just gonna cut very quick to the part where it just really gets to you. Everybody's still having fun, blah blah blah. Carol had to leave for some reason. I forgot why, but she. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, I think they went off to go look for what the missing survivors or something. They went to go look for somebody. Then they end up separating because they're like, okay, in order to find these people, oh yeah, because they saw some of the people that were supposed to go to Hilltop to the fair were missing, and they found their carriage. They were like attacked. Oh no, because the new people that were also introduced, the new survivors that were also brought into the kingdom, they found the corpses and they told the others about it, so they came to investigate, and they're like, zombies didn't do this. They didn't kill these people. This was done by a human, by a person, and it was the corpse, the lady that Alpha cut off the tip of her hair so she could wear it. They found those bodies. So they're like, we need to separate it because we need to get to the bottom of this because it's probably those Skinners. They call them the Skinners, not the Whispers, but they call them the Skinners because they wear like those zombie masks to blend in with the zombies. It's already nighttime, and then the Michonne, Carol, and who else? One of the new characters they get captured, and Daryl, they get captured and uh, they get taken away by the Whispers. Let me see. Okay, here's that part. So yeah. So okay, I'm sorry. So when it comes to the part where everybody, and it's already nighttime, so it's already time for movie night. Why did I do that? I'm sorry. It's already time for movie night. Everybody's at the movies, but you notice that there's some people missing, and the girlfriend, the Alpha's daughter, I remember King Ezekiel's son and Carol's son, both of their son told his girlfriend, who is, what's her name, by the way? What is her name? I'm sorry, guys. I don't remember her name. And who is King Ezekiel? Henry. There. Okay, Carol and King Ezekiel's son Henry. That was his name. So Henry tells his girlfriend like, "Hey, go on to the movies because I gotta go fix the water pipes because they heard some loud noises." So they all went to go fix that. And she's there at the movies enjoying it for the first time because I guess it's the first time she's ever seen a movie because she's there laughing. It's a cartoon, and she realizes like Henry's not there yet. But then who sits next to her? Her mother. And she's like, shut up. Don't scream. Don't do anything that's going to cause attention. So, yeah. So it goes back and forth. It turns out, I love the way this episode was shot. So we go back where Michonne, Daryl, Carol, and the other new character, they were captured. And then the Alpha, she's back in the forest. So they were going. It's like it takes place in the past. It takes place in the past and the present. So I guess it was the present, and then the past was like at the movies. So in the present, she's talking to Michonne and Daryl. She's like, uh, what does she tell them? Let me see. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. What does she tell them? She is so creepy.
You ain't getting her back.
You think this is about my daughter?
Oh, it is about your daughter. It totally was. Okay, so they got captured, and Daryl, they already knew like why they think the reason why they captured him is because she was gonna play threaten them so she can get her daughter back. And she's all like, "Oh, you think this is about my daughter?" And no, like they keep talking and talking, and then it just gets to the point where she's like, she takes away Daryl for a little bit and takes him away from the others. So she leads. It's already I don't know how fast time goes, but it's already afternoon or morning. No, it's already morning, and she brings Daryl to this area where there's like a horde of zombies, like just I want to say millions of them. And she's telling them like, my people are down there, keeping them together. And this is to show you, if your people come across my land once again, if they dare step foot in my land ever again, I'm gonna bring all these zombies to your people and kill them. And I'm sorry, I love her accent, by the way. That's why I'm doing her accent. And Daryl's all like, so what? You still want to have your daughter back? She's like, no. Yeah, like, she didn't want her daughter anymore, but then it makes Daryl think, like, ask her, what did you do to your daughter? Like, basically, like, he knew, like, she saw her daughter and she met up with her, and he asked that question, like, what on earth did you do to your daughter? Because why don't you want her anymore? And immediately I thought, did she kill her own daughter? I mean, I'm not shocked, but what a bitch. I was already worried, like, she's so cute. I love her daughter. I want to get to learn more about her. It'll be a shame that she killed her own daughter just because she was a little bitch. I don't know. Just because she didn't want to go with her mom and she ran away again from her mother. I mean, look at her. Her mother's crazy. But then we get a flashback when the alpha was talking to her daughter. Yeah, so she took her out of the movies and she's like, what is your problem? Like, why did you run away again? Nobody had to die if you just would have came with us. What did she tell her? Hold on, let me see. I'm watching more about it.
Your friends were waiting for you in the field, you know.
Oh, yeah. So before we get to that flashback, the alpha tells Daryl, you and your friends can go free after this because I just want you to see like what we have, what we're packing if you cross my land again. I'll be right there, Soda. She's like, you're gonna know where not to cross when you meet up with your friends. And he's all like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh, you'll see the line when you get there, where not to cross.
You killed Lydia.
Lydia. I think her name is Lilith or Lydia. Is it Lydia? That's her daughter's name, Alpha's daughter's name. I'm sorry, Lydia. So she confronts Lydia, like, you ran away again. She's all upset, and she's like, come with me. And Lydia stands up to her mother and says, no, I don't want to go back to that life. They love me here. I'm with this people now. I'm with these people now. I made a choice. You can just leave, and just standing up for herself. I was like, that's what she needs. You see, she's already stronger. Because even Alpha, when she was telling Daryl, she was weak. And we all know that her rules are, if you're weak, if you shed a tear or anything, you'll be killed off. You're considered a weak person and you don't deserve to live because then you're just gonna be weak. You're not gonna last long. So they just kill you off. That's her rule. So the moment Daryl heard that, that's when he questioned her. What did you do to your daughter? And she believed that she was weak, but she was not weak at all. She stood up to her mother. I think, Henry convincing Lilith or Lydia to join them made her stronger. Because look at her, she was standing up to her mother who was a complete psycho and very threatening. I'm afraid of her mother, but so she does leave her, but she tells her, I was so scared. I thought she was gonna twist her neck or anything because she kept touching her face. But she's like, you didn't belong with us anyways, didn't. But I kind of thought, I took it when she said that, I thought she knew her daughter was not about that life, that she didn't belong with those people. So maybe after that she didn't kill her, right? So I thought she let her go. And then when you see her crying later on, because I guess it was tough to leave her daughter, because she even told Daryl, like, what did she tell her? What did she tell her?
can protect my daughter. But I hope I'm wrong.
What does she tell her? I think she's a terrific actress too. The daughter, Lilith, or Lydia, whatever her name is.
I don't think you can protect my daughter.
Yeah. So the alpha let her daughter go. She let her stay. And I thought, wow, that was kind of like, big of her to do such a thing. Because you would think, oh, she's dead. She's gonna kill her own daughter. But no, she let her go. And I thought, wow, I guess that's kind of cool. And I thought it was also cool that she made a deal with Daryl. It's like, we've already crossed paths. We've already killed your people and you killed ours. But I'm gonna make you a deal. I'm gonna show you this one last, warning. I'm gonna bring this horde to your people if you cross my land again. All you gotta do is just take your friends home. You all can go free, and take care of my daughter. But she even says right there, like, I don't think you could take care of my daughter, like, because she believes her way is the best way. But then she tells Daryl, but I hope I'm wrong. And Daryl replies back, you are, because we can take care of her. And he just walks away and meets up with the others. So it's gonna get to the good part, guys. So I thought that was brave of her. That was good of her. And you see the alpha, like, shedding a tear. Because I guess, it was hard to let her daughter go. And then she saw that one of her followers, one of the Whispers, saw her shedding a tear. And then she's all like, come here. And then he gets close to her. She just looks at him and then kills him off. And I'm like, I laughed because I thought that was so funny, because she knew if this fucker told the others that I shed a tear, they would go against me, because they're like, oh, the rules are if you shed a tear, that's weakness and you don't deserve to live. So she's like, fuck that, I'm gonna kill this asshole, because I'll be damned he's gonna tell everybody else I shed a tear. So she took care of that. She's like, F that. So I thought that was funny. So I started building a little bit. I started to like her a little bit after that. But then it went all down here from here, because
But I hope I'm...
later on we find out what happens. So it comes to the part where they're coming across, when Daryl meets up with Michonne and Carol. They were set free, and they were free to go home and just not cross that land ever again where the Whispers live. But as they were walking up the hill, and they saw like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pole sticks at the very top of the hill. They see heads that are like placed on top of those sticks, and I'm just like, what the hell is that? And then it cuts to the camera, like, showing you behind the sticks. So I'm just like, what are they? Just hairs that they cut off from the other corpses or something? Like, what's going on? And as they get closer, and the music in that scene was terrific. I love the music that they placed for that scene, because it was just so, it was perfect. I can't explain it. But as they walk up, they're just horrified. Their expressions are like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, oh my god, what are they looking at? They start seeing some of their members, their heads were like completely cut off by the Whispers, and they were placed on those sticks. But they show you one by one who they are. And every time they showed you one by one, they would cut, each time they showed the piece of the head, in between those scenes, they show you a flashback of, back at the fair, people asking each other questions. Hey, have you seen so-and-so? There they are. Their head is right there. They go back to the flashback at the fair. Hey, have you seen my friend? They were supposed to meet me here. There they were too, on that stick. Their head placed on that stick. And I'm just like, oh my god. So they killed some of the new characters. They killed one of the members from Hilltop, the leaders. No. One of the assistants of the leader. I'm gonna get that there. Who died? Yes. I'm reading it right here on the list. I was so shocked. So yeah, every time they show different scenes, they were like, yeah, like that one guy. He's like, "Where's my two friends? They were supposed to meet me here at the movies." That poor girl with the glasses her head was placed on those. She was part of those dead people. They even asked, "Where's Margaret or where's Tammy?" That was her name, the old lady. Her head was also there too, and it was such a shame because she just, you know, adopted a baby, with her husband because I believe she lost her son, right? She lost her son, but the season 8, and then they have a new baby because the Whispers abandoned that baby with the Walkers, and then one of the other survivors saved that baby, and they're like, "Here, we need to find this baby a home." But then when they see the baby with those old couples, they're like, "I think that baby's already found a good, loving family now," and it's with them. So I thought that was so sad seeing her head on that stick because she's dead. I'm like, she was already moving on to a different life, to a whole new chapter, and there she is, dead. It was horrible. Everybody was just horrified. Michonne, just looking at those heads. And there's another survivor. I'm watching it right now, so I can read it. Yeah, where's Tammy, which is the old lady? She's dead. Poor lady. I remember her. That actress. She came out in How to Get Away with Murder. And there's one of the best friends. There's one of the friends, the guy, and then the girl, young girl with the glasses. She didn't deserve to die. Though some of those people didn't deserve to die, but they ended up dying. So as you already were getting used to, like, okay, every time they ask where's who, you already knew they're dead, and then they show you that scene, their head on that stick. That part in the flashback when they're back at the fair, when they showed that guy who was boyfriend and girlfriend with Enid, is that her name? Enid, which was Carl's girlfriend, former girlfriend, yeah, back in season 8. Um, when the boyfriend yeah, Enid's boyfriend was practicing, his music along with the guy because they were gonna do a performance, and he's looking around and he notices that his girlfriend is nowhere to be seen. I was like, no. And then they show her head. I was like, no, that girl has been through so much. Like, she lost her family. She saw her family get eaten by zombies. She lost Carl, and she's dead. It was horrible seeing her head there. I was like, no, I liked her. I really liked her, guys. It was horrible. But it's not, it doesn't stop there, guys. It doesn't stop there. Okay, and then they show back to the past at the fair, when they're like, "Have you seen?" Actually, no, I think that was actually present. They were going back and forth. So when the priest, I forgot his name, when he's asking, I forgot his name too. Hey, if you see her, can you tell her to meet up with me because I want to talk about important things. They were talking about Tara, Tara, Tara. They were talking about Tara, the lesbian. The one that's been alive ever since, with the governor, the one that she was with the governor, but then she's, she teamed up with Glenn, and then she teamed up with the others. And she's been alive ever since then, guys, alright? Season 3? Was it season 3 or season 4? I think it was season 4, right? I think it was season 4. But she was with them since season 4, and she was already, it was horrible, because I liked her too. I started tearing up, guys, literally, after I saw Carl's former girlfriend's head on that thing. It was terrible too because I was like, oh man, and she just became a leader for she became the new leader for Hilltop because after Jesus died, she had to like step it up and be the leader now for Hilltop, and she was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be a great leader for Hilltop and everything, and I thought she was gonna be a terrific leader because she's been through so much. I think she was so terrific to her character. She was always saying some funny jokes and everything. She just grew up to be a very strong character in this show. And then seeing her dead was just like, oh my god, another rip. And then here comes another devastating death. When Lilith, or what's her name? Alpha's daughter, Lydia or something. Yeah, I think it's Lydia. When she runs up to King Ezekiel, she's like, hey, my mother's here. And she's around, she's somewhere in the kingdom. I can't find Henry. we find out. Oh, but before they show his head on that stick, you see Carol walking up to the head, and then Daryl. You hear Daryl yell, "No!" Like meaning, "Don't look, please, don't look." But I mean, like, how could she not look? How could Carol not look? That's her son's head on that stick. Oh my god, that part broke my heart because the way Carol was, she's like, "Is that my son?" And Daryl's like, "No, no." He tries his best to like turn her around, like, "Don't, please, please." But it was already too late because she looks at Daryl and she has that face like, "I know who it is. It's my son." And then, oh, I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it because that scene was so terrible because Carol has been through so much. And then seeing that boy, I mean, it wasn't really her son, like blood related, but she adopted that boy. And she always feared of losing him because she tell him like, you can't be like this because, he would always train himself up to, learn how to kill zombies and everything. And he wanted to prove to Carol like, I can do this or whatever. And then Carol's like, "No, like, don't do this," because she's already learned from the past. She tried to train kids, but it failed. They ended up dying. She lost her daughter. She lost two girls that she thought she could like teach them how to defend themselves. And then she was worried about this boy. She didn't want him to go through the same fate as her other kids do. Oh, hello, Nemo. Can you act the scene by scene? Looks like you can. I'm sorry. I just love the way it was performed, Nemo. But what was I saying? Welcome to the stream, by the way. We're talking about season 9, episode 15. Um, I hope you've already seen it because it's major spoilers. I just wanted to talk about this episode because that episode, I felt like it caught my attention more than the Michonne story and then Rick's story, because that part was just like, damn, they killed a lot of like a few main characters off. So I'm just like, damn. Tony G, what's up? Carol is one. Hold on, I gotta get that. Is one of the OG from the. Yeah, man. It's like she. That's what I'm saying. Like she's been through so much. Like she was a very weak character from the beginning, but she grew up. She developed so much to become a badass, a kick-ass character to where she kind of like almost lost herself. She was like conflicted of like who she wants to be, like a killer or a survivor. Like she doesn't want to kill people anymore, but at the same time, like she kind of found her balance when she found Henry, and then when she met King Ezekiel, when they build a relationship. So I was like, poor Carol, man. It's like she can't catch a break. No, none of these characters can catch a break because it's like there's always one something that's gonna fuck it up. Let's see. I stopped watching after the second season. Give it all to this. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people don't like The Walking Dead, but I kind of did. I will say I did mention this in the beginning of this video. I also stopped. I also almost gave up on it after Rick left. But then when I heard that they're already making a season 11, they're already in the works of it, and then Maggie's gonna come back, the actress who played Maggie. I'll just like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I'll continue watching the rest of season 9. I'll give it another shot. So I watched it, and then I was back on track with this. And then watching this episode, I was just like, damn, this show reminded me how much I liked it because every time there's a death scene, it's always sad. It's always like a heartbreaking episode. So I thought it was like a big because you always thought how are they gonna do better than the other deaths in the past, and I think they did good with that because the reason why I love that episode so much is because the way it was shot, the way it was presented. Because like I said, every time they would always ask where's so and so, and then they show their heads, like building up to that, and then when that girlfriend asked King Ezekiel, "Hey, my mom's here. Have you seen Henry? He's missing," and it's like, oh my God, no, no, he can't be dead, no. And then when Carol sees him, you're like, fuck, damn it. It was beautifully well done. The music was done well with that scene. I just love it. I love how it was done, that episode. It was horrific, but and then that's why I hated Alpha. I was like, bitch, fuck you. But it's like they can't do anything about it because they already made a deal that they were never gonna cross the Whispers area again. But then you learn later on they're like, we don't want to fight them yet because we don't know their weaknesses yet. We don't know how to fight them yet. So they're waiting until the right moment comes. So yeah, Carol's not gonna let it go for sure because she even says it like that bitch is gotta die. Cause fuck that, yeah. Cause what would you do if this bitch, killed your son, and you've already lost so many in the past? I don't know how I would live with myself. Carol's like, I don't know. She's very strong, but there's only a limit of how much you can deal with. Some people just like they can't live with themselves, but Carol, she's still fighting for it. Let me see. I'm sorry. I need to get back to the chat. It's only Kier and Daryl left in season 1. Yeah, it's only Carol and Daryl. They're like the original people from the very beginning, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, because everybody else is dead. Tony G. Everybody, they've already been killed off. Um, I was told that the actress who's playing Michonne, she's gonna leave soon. I'm not sure in this new season, but she's leaving, and I hope they don't kill her off because she's another wonderful actress. She's another terrific character. I love her character so much. Uh, Tony G, I stopped watching after Negan. Yeah. What did you think about Negan, Tony G? I thought he was a badass villain. I didn't think they were not gonna top the Governor, but Negan, man, I think that actor pulled it off. I hated him so much, but I loved him at the same time. He was a badass villain. But I'm going to get back into it. You are I definitely recommend it, Tony G, because if you guys kind of almost gave up on it like I did, give it another chance because there's still good stories in these episodes. Season 9 had a lot of good episodes with good stories where it brought me back. So it's like, cause like I said, how are they gonna do this without Rick? He was also one of the original people from the very beginning, but I know he's gonna come up in the Walking Dead movie. So I'm like, how are they gonna pull it off with these other characters? And they still pull it off. I think they're doing a decent job, still keeping it alive. So it's still good. It's still very good. The most epic scene till this day is still when Rick killed Shane. Oh yeah, yeah, I like that. Shane was another asshole I hated, but he was a good actor. Um, that scene to me is stuck to me. How that moment where him and his best friend, yeah, yeah, I like the way that was shot too, because Shane was like really like giving it to Rick, like you have a weak boy, your wife prefers me and shit like that, just trying to piss Rick off, trying to get him to lower his, trying to get him in his moment, but nah, Rick was all calm about it. He had a mission, and that was like to get Shane out of the way, and as difficult as it was, yeah, even though it was his best friend, he had to do it because Shane was already becoming a psycho man. He just, even though he was like sort of a strong character, but he was just not all there in his mind. His character, he would have killed everybody if he had the chance. So yeah, Negan, I think he did better than the Governor, but it's close. Yeah. Well, this bitch, Tony, this bitch called the Alpha, she's good. I like her. I like the actress who's playing the Alpha from the Whispers, the leader of the Whispers. I think she's like the first female villain, considered the other cop chick who killed Beth. Uh, Besides her, I think she's the best. No, not the best, but she's alongside with the Governor and Negan, because she's really. I like the way she acts as this character. She's threatening and she's creepy, and her accent's badass, and so I think she's doing a really good job playing the role as the Alpha. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that was just my spoiler review for episode 15. The one episode, my favorite episode out of all the episodes from season 9. Well, besides Rick and Michonne's. Rick and Michonne's were good. Uh, but this one was just like, damn. I just love the way it was shot. So yeah, that was my review about it. And that's why I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give season 10 a shot. I'm gonna watch it. I still haven't seen it yet, guys, but I've been recording it in my DVR, so whenever I get a chance, I'm gonna start watching it to see like, okay, what's gonna happen next. So yeah. And anyways, the movie's coming up, so it's like, you know what? I should watch these seasons just in case, so I could be all caught up with it. I think the movie's gonna come out like what, next year, if I'm not mistaken. I'll definitely get back into it though. I might go see Dax's stream. Thank you for the review. You got me wanting to get back to it. Oh, cool, Tony G. Yeah, man, I'm back to it, and I hope you get back to it too, because I know people have different opinions about it, but I think they're doing a really good job so far. I think they know what they're doing. The people, the creators of this show, and job well done. Oh, and I like that how Negan he's slowly becoming good, but he's still an asshole because that's just how his character is. But I like how he has this bond with Rick's daughter, Judith. I like how they have their bonds because Judith, she's the reason why he's becoming good because like Negan says, I see so much of Carl in her, and then I also see Rick, so it's like that's why she's just like Carl. So yeah, she's like the new Carl. And notice that every time they bring a new girl, a new lesbian, a new character that's almost like the similar to like characters we're already familiar with, they tend to kill off that character. For example, when they brought Herschel, they had to kill off Daryl or the other old man from season 2. They had to kill him off. When they brought this new little girl, this new young girl into the show in season 9, they had to kill off Carl's former girlfriend. See how that works? So I'm starting to catch on like how they do this. So let's just say they bring an old man. Or let's just say, hold on. Let me see. Let's just say they bring a gay character into the show. They're gonna have to kill that other guy with the metal hand off. It's just a theory because I'm starting to catch on how they do this. But yeah, very very good show so far. So I'm looking forward to season 10, and thank you guys so much for joining me in this conversation. I loved how you joined in, and I'm glad that I was able to. Uh, I convinced Tony G to get back into the show, so that's cool. That's really cool. So yeah, thank you all once again for watching. I'm gonna go get back to playing with my friends. Just want to talk about this. Next review will be about my thoughts about a Hocus Pocus 2. Disney Plus is already working on making a Hocus Pocus 2. They already got a screenwriter for it and everything, so I have thoughts about it. But we'll talk about that in my next review. So yeah, thank you all so much, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good night and stay safe out there. Tony G, you have a good. I think you have a good morning, right? Yeah, you have a good morning. Laters, guys. Thank you once again. Oh wait, hold on, because he used to have a daughter as well in the show. Yeah, yeah, and Negan, right? You're talking about Negan. Yeah, and I thought that too. I think he sees, how Negan had a daughter. He kind of sees Judith as, I guess Judith reminds him of his daughter as well. So I like their bonds. It's really cute. Like that one episode where she got lost in the snow, in the stormy snow, and he went out there to go save her, and I was just like, oh Negan, you softy, you've always had a soft heart. You were just going about it the wrong way, you asshole. But I'm looking forward to see how if he's gonna go against the Whispers. It'll be kind of cool. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So yeah, thank you guys once again. We'll end it. Bye bye.